16 years. That's how long fans have waited for another adventure in the swamp. Since Shrek Forever After closed the book on Far, Far Away in 2010, the once mighty ogre has lived on primarily through memes and nostalgic rewatches. But now, the wait is finally over. Shrek 5 is officially happening, with a release date of December 23, 2026. And from what we know so far, this isn't just another sequel. It's a complete reinvention that's already dividing fans. From a controversial new animation style to a time jump featuring Shrek's teenage daughter, this fifth installment is set to change everything we know about the franchise. But will these changes honor the legacy that made Shrek a cultural phenomenon? Or risk destroying what made us fall in love with that green ogre in the first place? Stay with me until the end to discover why this might be the most important and divisive chapter in Shrek's story yet. So, the announcement of Shrek 5 wasn't exactly a surprise. Rumors have swirled for years, with DreamWorks repeatedly hinting at a return to Far, Far Away. But the journey to this point has been anything but straightforward. To understand why Shrek 5 matters so much, we need to revisit how we got here. When Shrek first stomped onto screens in 2001, nobody could have predicted its impact. This irreverent fairy tale parody, with its bathroom humor and cynical take on Disney tropes, didn't just succeed, it revolutionized animation. Shrek became the first ever winner of the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature, grossed $484 million worldwide, and spawned a franchise that would eventually earn over $3.5 billion globally. That's a huge success right there. And this success continued with Shrek 2 in 2004, which remains one of the highest-grossing animated films of all time when adjusted for inflation. DreamWorks CEO Jeffrey Katzenberg originally envisioned a 5-film arc, but plans changed after Shrek the Third, 2007, and Shrek Forever After, 2010. The latter was marketed as the final chapter, with the story reworked to provide closure for the characters we'd grown to love. For years, the swamp remained quiet. Then, in 2016, NBC Universal acquired DreamWorks Animation for $3.8 billion, and the new owners immediately expressed interest in reviving their green golden goose. By 2018, Illumination CEO Chris Meledandri was tasked with overseeing both Shrek 5 and a new Puss in Boots film. The success of Puss in Boots: The Last Wish in 2022, which earned critical acclaim, an Oscar nomination, and $484 million at the box office, proved audiences were still hungry for stories from this world. A mid-credits scene even teased a return to Far, Far Away, setting the stage for Shrek's comeback. After years of development, recording finally began in early 2024, with Eddie Murphy confirming he was back in the booth as Donkey. By July 2024, DreamWorks officially announced Shrek 5 with the July 2026 release date, later pushed to December to avoid competing with Minions 3. But it was a 15-second teaser trailer released on February 27, 2025, that truly ignited the conversation and controversy surrounding this long-awaited return. If you haven't seen it yet, you'll want to stick around, because this tiny glimpse has revealed far more than anyone expected about where Shrek is headed. And trust me, it's going to change everything. But first, let's break down what we know for certain about this sequel. The most exciting news for longtime fans is the return of the original trio: Mike Myers as Shrek, Eddie Murphy as Donkey, and Cameron Diaz as Princess Fiona. Diaz's involvement is particularly noteworthy, as she retired from acting in 2014, making this her first major role in over a decade. This commitment to the original cast signals DreamWorks' understanding that the chemistry between these three characters forms the heart of the franchise. But Shrek 5 isn't just looking backward, it's introducing a new generation. The teaser confirmed Zendaya has joined the cast as Felicia, one of Shrek and Fiona's triplets from Shrek Forever After, now depicted as a teenager. This casting choice has generated significant buzz, with fans pointing out Zendaya's 2017 social media post declaring her love for Shrek, a post that was recently reposted by the official Shrek account. Some have questioned whether Zendaya is becoming overexposed in major franchises, while others celebrate the star power she brings to this new character. The teaser also confirmed the return of supporting characters like Pinocchio and the Magic Mirror, though notably absent was any mention of Antonio Banderas's Puss in Boots. After the success of his solo sequel, fans are speculating whether the famous feline will appear in Shrek 5 or be saved for another standalone adventure. But what's truly fascinating about this teaser isn't who's in it. It's what it reveals about the story and visual direction of the film. And that's where our first major controversy begins. But before we dive into that bombshell, you'll want to hear about the creative team bringing this reinvention to life. Shrek 5 is being co-directed by Walt Dorn, who served as a story artist on Shrek 2 and Shrek the Third, and voiced Rumpelstiltskin in Shrek Forever After. Conrad Vernon, who co-directed Shrek 2 and voiced the Gingerbread Man, and Brad Abelson, known for Minions: The Rise of Gru. This mix of Shrek veterans and Illumination talent reflects the franchise's new position within the NBC Universal family. The screenplay comes from Michael McCullers, who wrote the Austin Powers films, and has described Shrek 5 as a pretty big reinvention for the series. This comment, made back in 2017 to The Hollywood Reporter, has left fans both intrigued and concerned about how far the film might stray from the formula that made the originals so beloved. The teaser gives us our first hints about what this reinvention might entail, and it's already causing a stir online that rivals some of the biggest animation controversies in recent memory. Let me explain why fans are divided and what it means for the future of Far, Far Away. The 15-second teaser shows Shrek, Fiona, Donkey, Pinocchio, and teenage Felicia gathered around the magic mirror, which is displaying various Shrek memes, including a TikTok-style dancing Shrek. When Shrek asks, "Who's making this stuff?" Pinocchio's nose grows as he denies responsibility. This brief scene suggests something fascinating. Shrek 5 might be a meta-commentary on the franchise's own cultural legacy, with the characters discovering they've become internet phenomena during their 16-year absence. But that's not what has fans talking, it's how these familiar characters look. Because Shrek 5 is introducing a completely new animation style that has sparked one of the most heated debates in animation since Sonic the Hedgehog's initial design in 2019. And comparing these two controversies might give us clues about what happens next with our favorite ogre. The new animation style uses DreamWorks' Moonray rendering engine, first introduced in How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, and refined in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. While technically impressive, the visual changes to beloved characters have proven extremely divisive. Shrek himself appears less ugly and more polished, with larger eyes, smoother skin, and less pronounced facial features. Donkey sports a white goatee and old man hair, signaling the time jump. Fiona and Felicia have bigger, more expressive eyes resembling modern Illumination characters. The overall aesthetic is slicker and less earthy than the 2001 to 2010 films, which used a more realistic, detailed approach. And fans have not been silent about their feelings. Social media erupted with criticism immediately after the teaser dropped, with comments like, "I'm not a fan of the Shrek redesign. I was a really big fan of how ugly and more realistic the old facial proportions were." Some have even asked, can we bully DreamWorks to change the Shrek 5 animation like we did to Paramount to change Sonic's animation? Referring to the famous 2019 incident where fan backlash forced a complete redesign of the Blue Hedgehog before his film's release. But is this reaction fair? And could it actually lead to changes? The debate reveals something deeper about what makes Shrek special, and why this redesign touches a nerve that goes beyond mere nostalgia. The original Shrek films followed what animators called Shrek's Law, where each sequel doubled the CPU render hours of the previous film. From Shrek's 5 million hours to Shrek Forever After's staggering 50 million hours. The Moonray engine streamlines this process while meeting modern audience expectations for polished visuals. Defenders argue the style aligns with Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which was praised for its painterly look and earned an Oscar nomination. They also point out that the character's aging, Shrek's wrinkles, Donkey's goatee, justifies design tweaks to reflect the time jump. There's also the possibility that the teaser's rushed release, it was reportedly leaked ahead of schedule, may not reflect the final film's polish. With nearly 2 years until release, DreamWorks has time to refine these designs based on fan feedback, though a complete overhaul like Sonic's is unlikely given the complexity of animated features. But what this controversy reveals is something fascinating about Shrek's place in our cultural consciousness, and why any change feels so personal to fans. Stick with me because this animation debate is just the surface of how Shrek 5 is poised to reinvent one of animation's most beloved franchises. And the story possibilities are even more intriguing than the visual changes. The teaser confirms a significant time jump since Shrek Forever After, with Felicia now a teenager. This aging of the characters creates fertile ground for storytelling, potentially exploring Shrek and Fiona as middle-aged parents, navigating life with a teenage daughter. The absence of Felicia's brothers, Farkle and Fergus, in the teaser has led to fan theories about their whereabouts, though they may simply appear later in the film. Michael McCullough's pretty big reinvention comment suggests several possible directions. The film could focus on Felicia's coming-of-age story, with Zendaya's character introducing new conflicts, such as rebelling against her parents' ogre legacy. The meta elements in the teaser hint at a possible commentary on Shrek's pop culture impact, using the magic mirror as a device to reflect on the franchise's meme-driven fame. This approach would be timely, acknowledging how Shrek has evolved from a blockbuster film series to an internet phenomenon during its absence from theaters. The Shrek series is the 18th highest-grossing film franchise and the second highest-grossing animated franchise of all time. Beyond box office, it reshaped animation by parodying Disney's fairy tale tropes, introducing adult-oriented humor, and embracing pop culture references. The Library of Congress selected the original film for preservation in the National Film Registry in 2020, cementing its historical significance. But perhaps most remarkably, Shrek has remained culturally relevant through memes and social media, keeping the franchise alive in public consciousness despite its 16-year theatrical absence. Shrek 5's December 2026 release aligns with the 25th anniversary of the original Shrek, making the film a celebratory milestone. A strong performance could greenlight further projects, such as the teased Donkey spin-off that Eddie Murphy has expressed enthusiasm for. However, a misstep risks tarnishing the franchise's legacy, especially if the reinvention leans too heavily on modern trends at the expense of the series' heart and humor. The success of Puss in Boots: The Last Wish sets a high bar, proving the Shrek universe can evolve with mature themes and visual innovation while maintaining its core appeal. But can Shrek 5 achieve the same balance? The animation controversy suggests it's walking a tightrope between evolution and tradition, innovation and nostalgia. And with nearly 2 years until release, every new reveal will be scrutinized by fans, eager to see if their beloved ogre receives the triumphant return he deserves. So where does this leave us? Shrek 5 is undeniably a pivotal moment for one of animation's most beloved franchises. With the return of the original cast, new talent like Zendaya, and a directorial team steeped in Shrek history, the film has the ingredients to recapture the magic of Far, Far Away. Yet, the controversial animation style has cast a shadow, with fans divided over whether it honors or betrays the original's distinctive visual identity. The promised reinvention and meta elements suggest a bold new chapter that acknowledges how both the characters and their audience have changed over 16 years. But this approach carries risk alongside reward. As we've seen with other beloved franchises that returned after long absences, nostalgia is a powerful but fickle force. Fans want something new that somehow feels exactly like what they remember loving, an almost impossible balance to strike. What makes Shrek unique is that it's always been about challenging expectations. The original film subverted fairy tale tropes and poked fun at Disney's polished perfection. Perhaps this reinvention, with its slicker animation and meta commentary, is simply the next step in that tradition. A Shrek for 2026 that questions our nostalgia just as the original questioned our fairy tales. Or perhaps it risks losing the rough-edged charm that made Shrek special in the first place. As we count down to December 2026, one thing is pretty darn certain. Shrek 5 has already accomplished something remarkable. It has people talking passionately about a franchise that began more than 2 decades ago. Whether you're excited or concerned about the changes we've glimpsed, the conversation itself proves that Shrek's cultural impact remains as powerful as ever. And that perhaps is the true measure of a classic. What do you think about Shrek 5's new direction? Are you team embrace the change or team respect the original? I'd love to hear which aspect of this reinvention has you most excited or concerned. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to join our community of movie fanatics analyzing the biggest upcoming releases, hit subscribe and the notification bell so you never miss our deep dives into the films that shape our culture. After all, like layers of an onion, there's always more to uncover in the world of Shrek.